YouTube.com. Alanah PS VODs. That's Alanah streams. Okay. Hold on. Success. Why are we doing this? For some reason, Restream has made, like, there are like 10 extra steps now to go live, and I don't know why. The system was perfect. Why have we changed the system? It was great. But I did do it. We did it. Hello, Rum43. Thank you. What is the meaning of the title? Women are done with when 4B movement drama life bing gong. Okay, merch? It's pretty clear. No, basically, there's some kind of movement called 4B, which I think started in Korea, that women in the US are now planning to adopt, apparently. I don't know anything about it. The point is to learn about it here. Will I be quitting men? No. Big fan. Incapable. Couldn't do it. Thank you, Dalugi. I feel like women have been done with men for a few years now. Well, I think I heard whispers of this in Korea. Like being a thing in Korea, but I don't, just saying the phrase, the 4B stuff is stupid, you just make the right breed more, doesn't really make sense, because it's not about, humans are not about math and left and right. It's just about people being done with something. Again, not something I would personally do, but I just want to learn. I just want to learn. Thank you, Shadow8600. I'm glad the poster arrived. Yeah, we're going to be selling merch until next Friday. Do you think 4B is misdirected when white women voted mostly for the GOP? No. I imagine the white women who voted for the GOP, what was it, like 47% or something like that, are not doing this. It's probably very small. And yeah, those would be the kind of women who would be conservative anyway, so no. What does I want to learn? What the movement is. Why are they doing it? Where did it come from? Just want to understand. Okay. Stupid allergies. Stupid allergies. Okay, cool. So, let's do a little learn. Let's do a little learn. Happy Friday 007. It's a Saturday here in Australia, but we'll take it. Okay. This is a video from somebody called Anna B. Yeah, the 4B movement is supposedly huge in South Korea. My immediate stance from the outside is do whatever you want. Like, if it's that women are just quitting having sex with men, go for it. There's been a male version of that movement for ages. What is it? Men going their own way. Do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. It's my stance on pretty much everything, is do whatever you want. It's a radical feminist movement. Is it? Is not having sex with men a radical feminist movement? It could be a radical feminist movement, but all I know is that they just don't want to have sex with men anymore. To which I would say, go ahead. If you want. Okay, let me pull up this video. This is from, the account name is Anna Lee. Let me turn the audio on, make it a little quieter. Move things around a little bit. Okay, cool.
Since I uploaded
Tell
this
me how
video,
this
which was
happened.
laying out the reasons for South
Doing
Korea's
it for years, catch up
0.7
world.
birth rate, a whole lot of drama has happened since
Thank
then,
you, Grim
both on
Creeper.
here and on TikTok. So let me explain to you guys about everything that happened and explain to you exactly what the 4B movement
Yeah,
is.
let's do it.
So what had happened was
All I
was
know is
scrolling
women
on
not having
TikTok
sex,
a few weeks ago,
which,
and I
again,
just kept getting the same
okay.
type of videos on my For You page. Videos made
I don't
mostly
care.
by American women saying that all Korean women are following this thing called the 4B movement. Let me play
Why
a
is
few
it
of these
4B?
videos.
I
The
wonder.
4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. They are not dating men. They are not marrying men. They are not having children with men. They're not even sleeping with men anymore. And it's called the 4B movement because the Korean words for those four things all start with the letter B.
Oh, there you go.
This kind of first started happening around 2016 when Kim Ji-young, born 1982, a novel came out. And it is a fictional book about a Korean every woman and all of the misogyny and sexism that she's experienced from literally being a child all the way to her being an adult, suffering with postpartum depression after having her child. Now, this book became a runaway bestseller among South Korean women because they were like, she's just like me for real. And that's kind of when it started cooking, right? Now, the movement officially got its name in 2019.
Thought it was a massive reaction to the US election? No, apparently it's been a thing since 2019.
It's so successful, in fact, that now South Korea has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. The number of deaths in South Korea outnumber the number of births.
So that is not untrue, but that is not just because of this movement. I know a little bit about that from a South Korean friend, that their birth rates are incredibly low, in no small part because of a lot of it is to do with women, but it's also because of the economy. There was this thing that he was telling me about where it's basically, he was saying, the standards that are given to the younger generation from the older generation are so impossible to meet in terms of like, well, by this age, you should have accomplished this and you should have done this. And so they feel like they're never ready to have kids because they never meet the expectations of their parents, which is also coming from the men. Again, that's just one South Korean friend who does live there who was telling me about this, but yeah.
Births in South Korea, and it's hilarious because all the men and the government are like, oh my god, what do we do? They don't want to like talk to us, they don't want to date us, they don't, what do we do? Like, everything's in shambles, we don't know what to do.
Yeah, really
Like,
expensive
South
to have a
Korean
kid,
women
and they
have
never
been
feel
very
like they're
clear from
like
day one.
allowed.
They're like, hey, either you get your act together or we are literally eliminating all of this. Like, we are shutting it down. So that's the 4B movement and why I'm so obsessed with it and why I think we should have the 4B movement everywhere.
I think it's so fucking funny that Korean women are so done with Korean men that they're literally just deciding to die out. Y'all heard of 4B?
That is crazy.
I'm a big fan. Korean women literally just gave up on their men. They're like, they're fucking assholes, they're not gonna change, so we're all gonna go extinct. Which they literally
I don't know
are.
anything about
By the
sexism
way,
in South Korea.
Korea has like the lowest birth rates in the world. It's like really bad. But I just think that's so fucking funny. That's also very Korean. Like, Korean as an ethnicity is about to go away, and Korean women are literally just like,
Yes, I have heard about insane pressure on South Korean women to be
I was
like
trying to
stick
figure out
thin,
where the
perfect
sudden
looking. They
influx
get
of
shamed for gaining
4B
weight
was
when
coming
they're
from.
pregnant,
So
which is
I
like a
typed
thing
in
you have to
4B
do.
Undong
Oh, the
into
audio is too
Naver,
low?
which is
Okay.
Korea's biggest search engine, and there was no
it doesn't look
recent
like it's that low.
articles or anything in the news recently written about
There you
this.
go.
So I typed it into English into Google,
Can we
and
lower
then
that?
I saw some few articles from Elle or The Cut, and the TikToks that were being made were referencing these sorts of articles.
my
So I
God,
had seen these videos, and also my friend Annie, she had made a video on TikTok saying that most women in Korea do not know what the 4B movement
Oh,
is.
by
So
that.
I decided to make one as well and clear
And that's,
everything
like,
up.
such
This
a
is the
big
video
case
that I
of,
made.
Like, I say this all the time. So many things you think on the internet are the biggest thing ever are so fucking small. It's such a big problem with the way that internet communication is blown up. Like, there are so many. You'll see a video of a trans person crying because they were misgendered, and then you see 10 articles talking about how trans people are crying because they've been misgendered, and it's just one person. Like, that stuff is so hugely blown out of proportion, and then you start to think everybody is the same, paint everybody the same brush. It's like just a massive thing. Do you see the Nick Fuentes rant at women after the election? No, put that in the Discord. I'll check that. You planning on 4 being, mate? I already said Rahul. I don't stand a chance. Too weak to Rahul. It's hard to hear me. Okay, let me turn me up. I guess the microphone is there. Oh, hang on. There? Oh, that's too loud. There? That seems good. Is that better? How? Yes? Good? Too loud? Looks like I'm peaking a little. Good? volume max to hear it all. It's that bad? Even louder? Slightly too loud. Okay. I'm gonna go with like right here. That seems good. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. What was I talking about? Yeah, no, we like you'll especially I feel like TikTok is really bad about this. And there's something so funny about the Gen Z TikTok generation. I don't know how millennials kind of missed this, but there was fully this movement where boomers all believe everything they read on Facebook, and millennials were like, you're all fucking stupid. Gen Z believe anything they see on TikTok. How is it any different? It's the same thing. Like, just because one isn't Facebook, I don't get it at all. You'd be like, do you see this video? But that's what they're saying. And then you blow it up. It's like, everyone is doing this thing. And it's just, I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all.
Made.
So most of the 4B movement videos that I've seen
I did see, sorry, was it Valkyrie Audio says, I also don't know a whole lot about the Korea situation, but I've seen some vids on the subject, and it seems incel types are a lot more common mainstream, and they're pretty ruthless when it comes to doxing anyone who's suspected of being feminist. Yes, so the doxing stuff, there was definitely a thing in Korea. Again, I'm really speaking secondhand just on behalf of the one friend who I have who was in Korea, who is Korean. He was saying it's a thing where if somebody just doesn't like a woman or is rejected by a woman, that sometimes they will hack them and like leak their nudes. And if that happens to you in Korea, you can get like excommunicated from your family. You could lose your job. So they're like revenge porning women on a massive scale for being rejected. And he did make it sound like that was uncommon, like that wasn't like a thing everyone was doing, and that not all men there are like that, obviously, but that is a thing that's been happening, which is like horrific. I have like people always will ask, as a woman who largely wears baggy t-shirts on videos or things that cover me up. Obviously not right now. It's 30 degrees in Australia and it's very sweaty. It's very hot. People will always suggest, it's usually men, but sometimes girls do it too, that I must be less successful on Twitch because it's all these OnlyFans girls make it harder for me. I totally feel the opposite. I genuinely feel like, as somebody who's been part of the gaming community since before Twitch was this huge thing that it is today, like I'm old basically, been there back in the day. The OnlyFans girls made it easier for me, in that the people who just want to see boobs just go watch those girls. They don't harass me. I think also like the rise of OnlyFans girls and girls being willing to sell nudes has taken a lot of power away from the people who would previously try to leak nudes. Because they used to try to do it to every woman they desired. There's less of an interest in doing that now. It's like, I don't know, I feel like it's helped me, not hurt me. I don't feel like I'm losing viewers to girls who have their boobs out. Like, I feel like they're taking away the audience members that I don't want anyway. And I'm happy not to have them. I don't feel like I'm losing some fight I can't compete in. I'm like, great, take them away. I don't want them. You know what I mean? I think it creates a perception for lots of people that if you're a pretty girl on Twitch, you're just advertising for an OnlyFans. Not if you don't have one in your bio. Like, I don't feel like I've had people accuse me of that. Certainly people ask me when I'm going to make an OnlyFans or where's my OnlyFans, but that's just like basic misogyny. Like, they're not serious. Those people, it's just the equivalent of being like, show tits, slut. Like, that's all they're doing. But I don't think that people inherently assume I'm advertising OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Not that I'm trying to call myself a pretty girl. Still. Thank you for gifting the sub to Raul. CS King Mama. Please do not do OF. I will never do OnlyFans. Don't worry. I have no interest in doing that. But you, as a random person on the internet, also could not tell me not to. Why would I listen? I fully respect any girl who wants to do that. Do whatever the fuck you want. We're all selling our bodies to corporations anyway. Some of them are via pictures, some of them are via labor. They have all your time anyway. What's the fucking difference? I don't care. In support of OnlyFans girls. Think they've helped me. We'll never make one. Anyway, back to the video.
on TikTok are made from foreigners, And I think Korean Americans or just Asian people living in the West, but not actually people living in Korea. So like I said, I live in Seoul. The Western media likes to really pick up on these sensationalist, provocative topics and then makes it into an article, and then everyone on TikTok follows suit and makes videos about it.
Yes.
I am 29, going to turn 30 this year, and literally all the conversations that I have with my friends around my age is about, oh my god, we're looking to get married, we need to find good partners, and we need to do this before it gets too late or we're just like aged out of their marriage market, you know? There are services in Korea like marriage matchmaking services where people go and you pay a broker and you submit all this information about yourself, your income, your assets, your family background, if you have any debt, like which university you went to, you submit all that information, and then they will try to match you up with people who they think that you're on par with. So people go to these marriage services and they're heavily used. There are literally so many in the country because everyone is using them. The 4B
How do you
movement
age
in
out at
Korea
29?
is a very, very
Okay,
small
this is
fraction.
also, like, the stuff she's saying here, I don't even agree with. The idea of the age out is also, like, this weird internet bubble thing. Yeah, there's all this, like, dude shit about hitting the wall. My mum's in her 60s. There are 10 men in this neighborhood that would date my mum in a heartbeat. This is not a big thing that people think it is. I am over 30. You get told once you're over 30, you're done for. I just recently went to the F1. I had all these people coming up to me, to my dad, and asking if I was single. People asked my dad if I was married. It is not this thing that suddenly happened. It's just an internet bullshit thing. You think that once you're 30, no men are interested in you? Do I have lessons for you, sir? It is absolutely not fucking true. People ask my grown dad if I'm available. But apparently, once you're over 25, men don't want you anymore. It's just such internet bullshit. This is not how the real world actually is. If you go outside, you will see things are not the way that you think that they are. Too much fucking TikTok.
Of the whole Korean population in general. It's just the Western media likes to highlight that part and make it seem like it's the biggest issue in Korea, which it really,
my dad said
really
yes.
is not. I can promise you that. Don't believe all those sensational articles written online all the time. Most people in Korea still like the other sex. We want to date, we want to find love, we want to get married. Those are like the big majority. And it's only the small group of extreme radical misandrists and extreme radical misogynists. They just seem like the loudest because the most attention goes to them.
And since then, that video has racked up 1.2 million views on TikTok. And there were loads of people who are stitching it, making responses to it. And also people getting upset that I used the phrase extreme radical misandrists. But I'll speak about this in a bit. So this term 4B originated in Korea circa 2017 to 18 from feminist Twitter groups. And I'm getting this information from a Korean website called femiwiki.com, which is similar to Wikipedia, I'm guessing. And this website was made in 2016 by Korean women. So I'm getting it directly from the source. And on this website, they define 4B as radical feminism's motto for non-marriage, non-birth, non-love, and non-sex. So in the literal sense, it's a concise expression of celibacy, but the radical feminist groups use it as a feminist slogan with the intent of dismantling the patriarchy rather than the meaning of celibacy due to personal preferences and choices. But truthfully, I had never heard of this term 4B before, and neither had any of my friends or family. There are plenty of people currently doing Bihon and Pichusan, which means no marriage and no kids. And in my previous video, I listed out the reasons as to why this is happening. People are much more individualistic these days. They prefer being free and living life on their own terms. Getting married and having kids is expensive and as hell.
You just kind of don't... It doesn't apply to everybody. A lot of people just don't need to be married anymore. Like, if there's the men going their own way movement is the like male incel version of it, and the 4B movement is like the female incel version of it. Well, it's not incel, they're choosing to be celibate, but you know, there's just these two camps that don't want to date each other. I think that previously was sort of a problem. Now, I don't feel like there are a ton of benefits to marriage. To a lot of people. They're fucking expensive. Really fucking expensive. You know? I'm aware Elon has very strong procreation stances. Women have too high standards of now. Are you sure about that? Again, you gotta stop generalizing here. Some men have too high standards. Some women have too high standards. In some cases, men aren't pulling their weight. In some cases, women aren't. Like, it's really across the board. Why do I have my headphones like that? Because I have piercings on this ear and it hurts. You're right, when you compared it to men going the road, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know if it'll fix much. I doubt it'll change really anything. I should do Jacob's wedding speech. You'll be fine, Rahul. Seems like a lot of women want control. What are you talking about? Really? A lot of women want control? Oh my god. There are some controlling women. There are some extremely fucking controlling men. What are you talking about? Just go outside, please. Just go outside. Go for a walk. Yeah, I don't really feel like it'll make any difference to anything. But again, I don't give a shit what you choose to do with your own vagina. Go for it. I don't care. I don't see a problem. But I do think that, like, just so much of this, like, Andrew Tate pipeline has really convinced people that women are this weird devil. And there's like, don't marry them then, bro. I don't think women really care anymore. You remember it's not that long ago that women, like, marriage was literally just a woman being sold for a dowry, right? Like, she was sold. She basically had to do all the housework and raise kids and have sex with her husband and didn't really have much of a say in it. That was not that long ago. That is clearly not the case anymore. And I don't feel like we're that far off of being like, is marriage necessary? What's the point of this? Because it's obviously this huge profitable industry that is going to advertise out the arse because there's so much goddamn money in it. That's what you did to your sister. Oh no, Rahul. It's just, there's not that many benefits to being married. I think it's a Western women issue. What are you talking about? All Western women have too high standards? What do you mean? Just go outside and talk to people. Some women do. Humans are so different to one another. In the exit polls, show the youth men pushing right, likely due to the popularity of Tate among them. I think that is a really... I've spoken about this before. I did a episode of the Sad Boys podcast with Jarvis and Jordan, where I spoke about young men going right, like young men going more and more right-leaning. I think it's that, like, the people like Tate, or like a Sneeko, or like an Aiden Ross, all over your feed all the time. And there's definitely this huge thing where young boys have lost a sense of belonging. You don't know what their role is. It used to be, and it's still reinforced, that if you're a man, you're the provider. Men aren't really needed in that way anymore. So they have this identity crisis where it's like, okay, this thing that I was told would make me a man my whole life is no longer really a thing. Who am I and where do I belong? And instead of anyone trying to help to figure out where those men can find a sense of belonging, or where those men can, you know, still feel important and needed and valued, I think a lot of the left tells them to fuck off. Yeah, there is fully a male loneliness epidemic. And a lot of the left goes, fuck off, you piece of shit. And then the right goes, ooh, that's an easy target to make money from, and just radicalizes them. And pulls them into this little thing where they say, women have too high standards, it's her fucking fault, all the Western women are cunts. They're not, though. You are fully being indoctrinated, but it's because it's really easy to do so. Andrew Tate's model works very, very, very well, and there isn't really a counter to it. Like, there's a lot... No one has sympathy for the problem that they're facing. You know, men historically have higher suicide rates than women. A lot of that comes down to pressure. Usually every November I raise money for men's mental health, but it's just... It's a thing that I feel like is a problem, that is, like, the exit polls effectively confirm it. Like, it's the first generation in a very long time to be more conservative, and I do think that that's coming from people like Andrew Tate. And nobody's really helping. Well, we're just kind of rejecting them. Like, have you seen those clips of kids coming up to Sneeko at events and being like, fuck women, they're bitches, you know what I mean? That's just what we're doing. And the minute that they say that, we tell them to fuck off and die, rather than, like, trying to find any means to kind of acknowledge the problem. I have a young male friend who is very much in the bucket of the take crowd. Yeah, I have a young male friend who he's 18 or 19 who I was like, I wonder if he's a Trump supporter. He's Australian. And then just today, effectively, confirmed that he's a Trump supporter. He didn't say it, but he may as well have said it. I am tight, I said, at work in youth engagement. I'm finding the middle generation we're able to get away from it. High school students are constantly asking if it's okay to show emotions during my programming. How have we not gotten better about that? How have we not gotten better about letting men feel things? It's so stupid. They had this program in Melbourne that I feel very positively about. Like, men in Australia have their own unique kind of macho culture. It's different to the US. It's different, but it's a big, still a problem. And I'm sure I would have spoken about this before because I think it's so cool. In Melbourne, they started this program where they do book clubs for men. So they make men read these, like, they're all masculine books. It's all manly. It's all biker shit. But they do book clubs as group therapy to get men to talk about their feelings, and I found it to be extremely effective, including for men who are on suicide watch. Like, such a good way to make men, because they don't feel like they're talking about themselves, but they're still talking about feelings and processing things, you know? Like, it actually worked really well. Do you remember when I cried because the kid sang Titanic beautifully and you laughed? Yeah, Rahul's not afraid to cry. It's beautiful. Because these right-wing influences basically actually speak to the issues men do have, and it's just a pipeline to more radical and more misogynistic ideals. It sucks, though, because the left uses them tools, even though I strongly believe the left is better for us. I don't disagree. I think the right-wing influences take the feelings that are there and blow them up into things that they are not. And it's the easiest way to get someone to continue viewing your content is to make them feel fear, not of you, of other things. It is the easiest thing to do. If I wanted to make a bunch of subscribers overnight, the thing to do that works across the board is to give people an enemy to be afraid of and have them coming back to watch your videos to think about the enemy that they're afraid of. Obviously, I won't do it. It's a thing that I really admire about Kinda Funny, is we all know the easiest way to get a bunch of views as a gaming content creation channel on YouTube is to lean towards the right, to make people afraid of the thing is changing. It's not yours anymore. You're not welcome anymore. This is what they're fucking saying about you. You don't belong anymore. It's the easiest way to make people repeatedly come back. Fear is so easy to exploit, so monetizable. And it's like, anyone who is not doing that is actively choosing not to, even though the fucking, the option is there on a silver platter, but you're going, I'm not doing it. And I really, the fact that Kinda Funny is mostly dudes trying to employ a bunch of people and they never even come close, never even thought about it. I feel very positively about that. Striker 1138, which is like, I guess, like the bare minimum, but still, it's so fucking easy to do. Thank you, Zerg Rush. Fear, controversy, and drama feed the algorithm, 100%. And that it's not even hard. Like, I would know what video to make about Dragon Age Veil God tomorrow. Get a bunch of subscribers, make a bunch of money. So easy. You know? They view women having birth control and abortion as cheating responsibility for having sex. It's like they're getting mad at someone using medicine when they're sick. The birth control things are even harder. I just wish young men knew the best way to be happy and have a healthy dating life is by having passion and learning to be yourself. That kind of applies to everything. Be comfortable with who you are. You know? You know what I mean? A girl asked me to hang out one-on-one out of nowhere, then told me later it wasn't a date. I said that was fine, then she canceled her plan. What are women? That's not women, that's one girl. You know? Anyway, sorry.
Too much of a burden. But 4B is much more than that. It's rejecting dating and having sex as well, which is quite extreme. When I saw those videos of these American women saying that all Korean women are giving up on their men and shunning them away, and this is what's going on in Korea, I just felt the need to point out that no, these women doing 4B are not the majority of the Korean population. And yes, there is a growing number of people choosing not to get married and have kids, but despising and hating men is not the main factor for this, as those TikToks were
Sorry,
making
the
it
person who pointed out that that Beamer dude had been following me for 2 years. I just looked at his comment history and it is literally all just disagreements. I don't usually ban people for disagreeing, but that is like that dude was just hate watching. You're not wrong. It's just literally years of just telling me I'm wrong about everything.
out to be. And the reason why I brought up the marriage matchmaking service in my
Just a
TikTok
little too
video
long.
was just to prove the point that many people in Korea are still actively wanting and trying to find a partner to settle down with. I found it hilarious how some people were suggesting I was being paid by some of these companies. Please show me where in my bank account where that money is. Please, I would like to see. There are estimated to be around 3,000 of these services in the country with a total
This
market
video is
size
just somebody
of
being very defensive. So I'm not really getting the information that I want here. Let's do this one, I guess. Ugh. Stupid. It's a short. I'm not doing it. Okay, the social TV? Is this like The View?
Oh yeah, I'd say that's
Women
a no.
are swearing off sex and dating to protest or abortion bans and misogyny after Trump's election win. So they're using slogans like "Don't spread for red" and "No Nut November." So what do you think, you guys, of this growing interest in this form of protest?
First of all, okay, who knew that Trump was going to be the best prophylactic that exists? Like, who got that on their bingo card? You know, I think that and I don't know if this is going to sound anti-feminist. I don't really believe in this movement, and I'll tell you why. I think we're in a place right now where
Tell me what
everything
it
is
is.
divided, everyone is divided,
Stop.
right?
I
And
just wanna know what it is. I don't care what you think of
division
it.
further. It's just, I feel like it can quickly turn into a I hate men movement.
There's totally
and
none of them.
also, Trump is not paying attention. He doesn't know this is
Oh my god,
happening.
shut up. To be clear, I also will not be doing that. I'm a big fan of men in general. I do think we need to talk about men's health a whole bunch more. Does anyone know of anyone good who's covered this, who's actually going to be MSNBC? Is it? I mean, it's short. I'll try.
Back in 2016, the election of Donald Trump was a radicalizing moment for many women in America and across the world. An open misogynist beating Hillary Clinton, the first female nominee of any major party, even after the Access Hollywood tape leaked, brought about a global movement through the sheer force of women's rage and what they had been asked to endure.
They descended on the Capitol and cities around the world by the hundreds of thousands. Far more people marching for women's rights on President Trump's first full day in office than attended his inauguration. Tens of thousands more marching in Chicago, Boston, and Seattle. And overseas in England, Italy, Germany, and Paris. Crowds of mostly women, all protesting President Trump.
Trump era also gave us, just a few months actually after those marches, the Me Too movement. Another massive cultural shift
I
led
need
by
to know. From what I'm aware, let me just Google this. I mean, it's so complicated because of Project 2025. So I'm saying what I'm aware is that so from what I'm aware of, Trump, like, historically has been pro-gay marriage. And that maybe that's changed recently, but I think he was. But I'm having trouble finding. Like, maybe it's come around. Like, he's just shifted to whatever he wants, you know what I mean? Not gonna lie, as a young man, I've never once felt attacked by the left. I did get a lot of those targeted "here's why that bitch rejected you" 14-year-old child genre of videos, though. Yeah, so can know and what I'm saying is not that I think the left targets young men. There's no, like, I definitely do not think you are being attacked by the left for being a young white man. That is fear-mongering bullshit. I don't think that's happening. But there's no pathway. If you feel lost and you're looking for help, usually the right are the ones that, like, covet those young men. And then once they've coveted you even a little bit, like, if you have any of those views, there's no pathway out. Like, once you've started to be radicalized by the Andrew Tates who are just making money off of these young rabid fan bases, there's no pathway out of there. The left go, fuck you. There's never a Like, the right aren't canceling people for tweets from 10 years ago. So I'm not saying that I think that the left are, like, actively targeting young men. I don't think any of my friends would feel that way. Any person I know would feel that way. It's only on the internet, really. But the left doesn't have any pathway for that. Like, it's a lot more like, if you share a view that they don't like, they just go, fuck off, you're cancelled, you know? I do feel that. Like, I don't think that there is a solution that's being offered to this generation of men who feel very lost, other than the right-wing pipeline, which, the social media apps are absolutely in part to blame from that. They're absolutely contributing to that. Doesn't feeling lost, unheard, and frustrated apply to every young person? Also true. Yeah, it's not like young women don't feel that way, but I do feel like women are a little more open to talking to each other about that stuff, so you can be blanketed by a community of other women, whereas men aren't as welcome to talk to each other about their feelings. I certainly feel like we have, like a lot of young men are feeling very rejected or don't know where they stand, and there's no real solution to that other than the fucking right-wing pipeline that is aspirated by Twitter and YouTube. Thank you, TB Jonda. I don't think these people are being targeted. It's more that once you've strayed even a little, you're not welcome, you know? Can I talk with someone about that? I would think so. I would think you could. You'd have to ask, though. The left actually doesn't inspire men for better or worse compared to the right, especially when the left doesn't speak to the average dude. I try to be apolitical, but I do see more camaraderie from the right than I do from the left. I don't know that the left doesn't speak to the average dude. What do you mean by left when you say that? Because again, like, every friend I have is an average left dude, and I don't think any of them feel that way. Maybe on the internet, but left has always been fractured over who's a good leftist. 100%. Drives me fucking crazy. As a male feminist, the issue is young men don't understand feminist messaging is for them too. Definitely a thing. 100% a thing. Mostly talk to my best friend who is a woman about my feelings, so they feel like I get judged so fast by other men. See, that's a problem. None of you should be feeling this way. No man should be feeling this way about anything. Like, I wish there was some system, but right now it's like, it feels like there's a lot of hostility towards any man who even expresses that, you know? And it's like, I don't know what the solution is. It's certainly not to tell people once they have a bad thought that they should fuck off and that they're an incel, you know what I mean? I'm a leftist. I have friends who look out for me and care about my mental health. The idea that the left doesn't care about men is just a talking point when you are stuck in a right-wing echo chamber. Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely would not say that the left doesn't care about men. I do feel like, again, at least the online left reject people once they've been sucked in, and that the right are the people trying to suck them in. The left are not. You know what I mean? Again, it's obviously not everybody. She lost because of the economy. It's simple. No, it's not. I'd strongly defend the left as people who don't think in binary terms. The internet left that tries to police who the left is are ironic conservatives. That's funny. I mean, they are kind of ironic conservatives. It's true. It's extremely binary. Oh, good to know. Brock Studley said, shout out to Men's Lib, a subreddit for male feminists discussing issues relating to male depression in a more productive manner. You know, I went to a strip club for a friend's bachelor party, and it was me and only one other girl. And I'm sure I've spoken about this before too. The amount of men, that strip club, I was with a party of like 10 dudes who had heart-to-heart conversations with me like I was a therapist that night, because it was a comfortable environment for them, was very eye-opening. Like, that they just, something about being in the strip club with a bunch of other dudes and having drinks made them all just like, it's like I had therapy sessions with 5 separate dudes. And I was like, I'm so sorry to hear that. You could talk to me about this, where I guess they wanted to talk and they felt like they could, but they didn't want to talk to the other guys about it. It was wild. No Ethernet cable. Yeah. Shouldn't take alcohol for them to do that. Totally. Yeah. And it's also just like part of the men aren't allowed to share feelings thing. A lot of that is coming from the right, you know? That is, don't be a fucking pussy. It is coming from it's a conservative outlook. That is the way things were. That is the things not wanting to change. You know, that is us keeping the system as it is. And it's not like it's such a weird co-opt of that. Is the right commentary on it will be like, they're trying to turn the boys into women. Nobody's trying to do that. You're just trying to make it so that a bunch of men don't have pent-up emotions and want to fucking kill themselves. You know? Like, we do have a problem with young boys feeling lost, and like Rahul said earlier, that is just young people. It's not just young boys. I do feel like women are more open to talking to each other about it, though. And men, by virtue of fucking having testosterone, tend to be a lot more angry. Like, there is this problem of young boys having nobody to fucking talk to and feeling really alone and not knowing what to do. And it creates... Thank you, Jarvis. Thank you so much. I was talking about being on Sad Boys earlier, about how I spoke about this exact thing. It's not a conservative outlook, it's a societal outlook. Maybe it might be a societal outlook, but it's still an outlook that is like attempted to be rejected by leftists, I think. Is it American men? I feel like Brits, Aussie, Kiwis will chat to their mates. Yeah, look, there are different issues in Australia. Australian men can be pretty bad about that. I don't feel like it's quite the same, though. Fight Club addresses literally all of this. It's because sharing your feelings with another man is considered weak and unacceptable, 100%. Agreed, and that is a problem. I paid you for the free promotion. Thank you, Jarvis. Thank you, Xav W. If you show women your feelings, many of them will use it against you. I mean, I can't refute you telling me that. I don't think that would apply. Again, this has to be anecdotal because what do I fucking know? I don't think that applies to any woman that I know. I feel like my male friends talk to me about my problems all the time. But I can't refute that if that's your experience, certainly works across the board. Did I get a lap dance for the group therapy? I did not get a lap dance at the strip club because the only woman that I was especially attracted to, her name was the same as Rahul's mum's name, and that felt weird, so I didn't do it. Maybe I'm the exception? Certainly not. I think every woman in my family, every woman I know is like that. Couldn't work. Tough scenes. Probably wasn't her actual name. It doesn't matter. It was too weird. The most manly men I know cry, share their stories, and heal their mates. Nothing more masculine than putting your arm around your body and assuring them. Yeah, look. There are a lot of issues here. I think that's a great question, X-Wing, is why are men so opposed to being friends with women first? That is also totally an issue, is the idea that you can't be friends with women, or that's weak too, when for all of the, like, you know, efforts that we have put in to try to talk about people as though they're more individualistic. The American population certainly is very individualistic. There is reality in a lot of cases to women being very nurturing. I would consider myself to be an extremely nurturing person. I am down bad for a guy who's sad. I love a sad boy. I really do. I just, oh my god, baby, can I help you? It's a problem. I'm a sucker for a sad boy. Excessively. And I'll always be like, what can I do for him? Oh my god, he's sad. No, I can help him. I can help him. And I just can't help it. It's toxic. I can be manipulated by any man who's depressed in a heartbeat. Thank you, Smith. But that is certainly a thing. It is certainly a thing. Thank you, Desmond. That women, not all of them, but a lot of women can be more open to speaking about this kind of stuff with empathy. I would say that I have a lot of men who are in my life who are also very sweet and very empathetic and all that. Like, Men not wanting to be friends with women is also, I can't even fathom that one. At least I can understand where the right-wing pipeline comes from. And I just wish that, again, the online left were a little more accepting. Get out of here, Mike.tv. Male book club is the answer. Dude, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Legitimately. To any of the men watching me, okay? I totally have the broader spectrum of political backgrounds watching me than I think most people would realize. Maybe not on Twitch, but certainly on YouTube. I reckon I've got a ton of Republicans. If there's anything that I could ask you to do, it would be book club with your bros. Give it a try. You could also do a film club. But just make sure that you have the moment afterwards where you talk about the thing you watched. And maybe you have to be the person to facilitate that. You know what I mean? If any one of you manages to, after this, you start a film club with your bros, book club with your bros, just something where you can watch something, where human things are happening, and then you have the conversation afterwards where even if you aren't talking about your own feelings, someone will be like, well, I relate to this because of this. That's a thing we currently don't have. Just a community for men to talk about the shit that fucking bothers them. Rahul, do not do local multiplayer, okay? It has to be something you can emotionally engage with. And I'm not sure that Call of Duty is the right place to do that. Strip club, book club. Oh, I love that. Exactly, a separation of between yourself and feelings. Totally. Totally. Just some means to have you and your boys. Oh, dude, Rocksteady, that rules. To just feel like you can talk about stuff, because we do have a problem. Like, again, a lot of men have a lot of mental health problems that we just ignore and bury, and then they fucking kill themselves. Or they commit intense violence. Or they're violent against women. Like, it is a big thing. This is an issue that we have that I do try to talk about every November. D&D is a great idea. D&D is a really good idea. Totally. This is how cults happen. Thing I dislike most about my fellow men lately is they're constantly choosing to opt into being attacked. Someone says something on the media about men and these dudes can't sprint fast enough to identify themselves as the men being attacked rather than saying, wow, those dudes suck, glad I'm not like that. I do wonder where that comes from. Because I've never felt that way. I've never watched something where, like, there's a lot of conversation right now about how many white women voted for Trump. And so I'm seeing all of this stuff about how shitty white women are. At no point when reading that, and again, it's word for word, like, fuck white women. At no point through reading that have I gone, you know what I mean? Why is it the reaction that people feel like it's about them? As somebody who didn't vote for Trump and would not vote for Trump, when someone says fuck white women in this particular context, I know exactly what kind of person they're talking about, and I'm aware I'm not one of those people. Why do we have this situation where someone reads something and thinks everything is about them, you know? I have an anecdote. One of my oldest friends' mom died and we only found out weeks later, and it turns out in his family, men don't talk about stuff. Ugh. I'm so sorry. I'm actually pretty bad about that too. Non-college educated white women is the key demographic along with non-college educated men. Yeah, I mean, does make sense. I think the constant men are trash barrage is the first real big fuck white women moment. Yeah, but some people are trash. I don't know, maybe that's a media literacy one. Like, people do take everything personally on the internet. I don't know. I wonder if that is a... I can't rationalize it. I also don't know anyone personally. I know maybe one person, actually, who I think would unironically say men are trash all the time. and she has a bunch of male friends who would know that that's not about them. But I, again, have never even, women in the West, the standards are too high. I've never felt like someone was talking about me when they said that stuff, because I know that doesn't apply to me. I've seen the not all white women reaction to anti-men online feminist Twitter. It did not go over very well in their replies. Again, I'm not saying nobody reacts that way. It's something I just can't understand. Like, I just don't understand where that comes from. Why are people taking what's obviously a generalization as though it is about them when it is not intended? I think it's bizarre the media tells women we don't need men, but when the system fails, they say men failed women today. Am I trash or am I needed? I can't be both. A little different. Does an individual woman need a man? No. Just like a man doesn't need a woman. You don't need. And we're talking about partnership where that's concerned. Neither of you needs the other one. You are generally a happier, more fulfilled human if you have community, but you don't need each other. Men failed women today is speaking specifically about voting and abortion rights, which, man, did they make a talking point this time around. But I don't think those two things actually conflict. They're talking about effectively separate things. Maybe men feel attacked by all men are trash because that's a left standards. What? Sometimes feel so high that they feel as if they are one of the bad men? Left standards are very high. Again, the online left. Even most leftists in real life are not like this. It's a fucking Twitter thing, right? I'm a leftist. I'm not canceling anybody for shit they said 10 years ago. I would never do that. You know what I mean? I think it's fucking stupid. But they feel like they are one of the bad men for some past mistake they made when they were young and stupid. Yeah, but again, that would also apply to every woman too. That would apply to everybody. Because the left also eat women alive. I've been cancelled by the left. Probably I'm an exception. I'm not. Like, I'm speaking about my whole community. Obviously, people I know in person. It is anecdotal. I'm not an exception. I think the extremely cancel-y online left is an exception. It is so few people. There is also the culture shock in white women. They automatically aren't the center of everything now. I do also feel like that's a thing. What was I cancelled for? I got cancelled for, the context is so long, but I was on a stream and we were playing Jackbox Party Pack like a day after another big streamer had sort of been cancelled, but not really because his community was on the right, made a bunch of racist jokes. People were like, wow, I can't believe you would stream that. I was on a stream. I made a joke on the stream when we went live saying, yeah, we're live, so make sure you get your fucking racial slurs out. And then a second later I said, right into the trash, where they belong. But I was cancelled for saying that. Because it was taken as me making jokes about the plights of people of color. I have been cancelled. They tried to get me fired. The left came for me hard. People said they would never support me ever again. Few people seem to be a lot when there are social media, and that is everywhere. It's more that it's not, it's just that the few people get boosted because it's more entertaining. By the way, I saw EAFP being very angry with you again. I have no idea who EAFP is. I don't know who that is. So maybe the second time someone's coming to stream telling me, probably some shitbag YouTube group. I don't know who that is. I don't care. You don't need to tell me. They're nobodies. Never even heard of them. Your crime was trying to be humorous. The left isn't about that much lately. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. But yes. And I did not apologize for it. I was like, got it. I made a joke about something that I have not been a victim of. I feel you. But I didn't apologize for it. And the other one was as part of that same thing. So this girl wrote like a full twit longer. Sorry, I actually may even be misgendering them. This person, I'm not sure. I don't actually really know who they are, but I would be careful about that. This person wrote a full post about me, and the other one that I said was I was playing. I still think this is funny, and I feel bad that I laugh every time I say it. I was playing Fortnite with 3 friends, 2 black people, 1 Latino, so all people of color. And I said that I had never tried Kool-Aid, and they all got really mad at me, like I was being yelled at. They were like, "You've never fucking tried Kool-Aid?" And I said, "Did I just commit a hate crime?" To my 3 friends who were yelling at me because I hadn't tried Kool-Aid. Because they were yelling at me. They were not upset about me saying that, but that was in the same twit longer as the thing that I had said, that I was making fun of hate crimes as someone who has never experienced a racist hate crime. But I was proper cancelled by the left. They were big mad. Yeah, it's happened to me. I'm trying to think of other times I've been cancelled. People tried to cancel me once because I told somebody to go die in a fire. But that one died pretty fast because I was like, well, I never said I was nice. I said it very flippantly. I was basically telling them to fuck off. And they were like, "Oh, the tolerant left?" And I was like, I've never pretended to be nice. I'm okay with telling people to fuck off if I think they're being an asshole. So that one, they were like, "Oh, okay." I think there've been a couple more, but a lot of like people try to cancel me for things that aren't true a lot of the time too. But yeah, that was the big one where I had the full twit longer and people were trying to get me fired. And I mean, the right recently tried to fire me for the situational disabilities thing, like proper sent letters to employers. Tried to cancel me for that one, same thing, which I also didn't apologize for. I was like, "Sorry, I'm right, bye. I don't care." But yeah, the right did that one. Icky Akity Oops said, "I've been present with girls having a all men are trash conversation a couple of times. I am a man. They said they didn't mean me, but I already knew they didn't mean me. I knew they were just venting about the men they have dated and jerks. I didn't take it personally, but I did know them. It wasn't random posts on the internet." I guess if you don't know the context of the human it's coming from when those conversations are in your face, you could assume it's about you. But again, I never have, so I just have trouble rationalizing that one, you know? I don't know. I think those are an overcorrection post-Trump Gamergate in 2017. Though that never became the mainstream anti-white, anti-man hate that the right pretends exists. Yeah, the anti-white man thing I do not think is mainstream outside of the internet. Like, as a whole, you know what I mean? The whole situation with accessibility highlighted the lack of education. It was fascinating to watch the lack of understanding from afar. Yeah, look, that one was wild because you have someone who's a professional on something just being like, "This is a term that exists. Let me tell you about the term." And they said, "Fuck you for the term." And I was like, if you don't like the term, fair enough. Didn't make it up. It's a term. This is how it's used. And then they fully tried to cancel me because they were so offended. That is the fucking right, being little crybabies about a technical term. And claiming that the left are the crybabies about a technical term. Like, what do you... It's so weird that these... Just the extremists don't understand their own hypocrisy. And I was like, it's literally just a term that exists, bro. I was explaining it to you. I've said it many times before, which is probably the weirdest part about it, is the amount of other times I had talked about that term. And no one had said anything. Because I had people be like, she clearly just tried to make this blow up so she could get views. Had no idea. Had mentioned it many times on panels, podcasts, like loads of places spoken about that term. Very weird. Very, very weird. And the term is not derogatory. Well, that's such a crazy part of it is that when we work on accessibility in game development, we do work with disabled people. There is a huge pool of disabled consultants who are working on accessibility. Lots of them. They're very important. They're very helpful. And my whole point when I brought it up was that that accessibility is much bigger than what you think a disability is. It is literally, accessibility is just about having as many people in as many circumstances as possible be able to play your game without punishment because of whatever their situational disability or whatever the fuck you want to call it is. It's that terminology is used and taught by loads of people with what you would consider an actual disability, which is a term that, like, I am using that knowing that that is not how that community would like to be spoken about, but it's like, and then they pretended to be offended on those people's behalf. Very stupid. Very stupid. But, you know, whatever, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Thank you, Mr. Tyndall. Yeah, didn't apologize for that one. Not in a million years. What about the time they tried canceling me for the Dr. Disrespect thing? That one's a little harder. Look, I feel like they try to cancel me every YouTube video I make at this point. And like I said, I'm so actively aware that I could make YouTube videos that pander to the right and make more money and get more subscribers. It's so easy to do. That game is so fucking simple. But I won't do it. And I know that they, like, the most recent one, the right definitely tried to cancel me over. Fully very mad. If you go read the comments, it's crazy, is a video about 7 out of 10 game reviews, where I not once said I agreed with the system. I never said I thought it was good. I just said, here's why it is this way. And they are furious. It's, I don't know, dude. That one makes me feel like I'm being autistic, and that's why I can't see it, is that I'm like, why are you all so emotional for being presented information? And that's the last few of these that have happened to me. Happens that way. But really why they keep trying to cancel me specifically is because it gets them views. Like, I'm aware that if you post something I've said on Twitter, it will blow up. So they just do it to me over and over again because for whatever reason I get a ton of attention. That's all it is. Didn't they also come for you over kids being disability? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah. Why are we constantly alienating men when we need them to win elections? Okay, agomania. That's what we're trying to talk about here. How do you feel like men are being alienated? I'm asking that genuinely. Like, outside of what I think the system is, which is that people, young people, feel alone and they don't know where they belong and they're looking for a sense of belonging, and women turn to other women and men don't have anyone to turn to, so they turn to the internet and they find Andrew Tate and Sneeko and all these dudes who suck them in, and then the left rejects them and doesn't ever try to give them any path out. They just go, fuck you, fuck off. Outside of that, how are men being alienated? You know, one of the women in the gaming sphere that isn't a rancid bitch like Anita, I think that's why they listen to me more. What do you mean? They don't listen to me. They don't listen to me. If you're saying that I'm one of the good ones, they don't listen to me. My point is that they make hate videos on every video I make. Tons of them. And I just got told about another one this stream. They cancel me every video. They're mental. You alienate men. White men are the problem for everything. Okay, again, explain. Who is saying this and about what? I don't feel that way. Who gets told masculinity is toxic? This only comes from the left, and the right takes advantage of this. So, you think the phrase toxic masculinity is the problem here? That toxic masculinity, which is a term that I think you've misunderstood for the record. Toxic masculinity is specifically part of the fact that men can't talk to each other. Like, what that term encompasses is literally that men are told, you can't have emotions, shut the fuck up, man up, you're not allowed to talk about anything. It is making you angry. It's part of what that term is catering to. And it, like, part of that, I'm sure people misuse it. Like, it's a lot of young kids screaming to have an opinion, right? But that term is in no small part trying to talk about the issue we have where men do not feel like they can be heard because other men don't let them speak about their feelings, and then they fucking kill themselves. Like, this is a thing that when people talk about, they're not telling you there's something wrong with you. It's much more about an issue with masculinity as it currently stands that we would like that I would like to help people with. What Yeah, it's not like I disagree. I just want to understand. When I talk about my feelings when I could go hunt a bear. Yeah, or kill others, or shoot up schools, or beat their wives. Like, that's what, when people talk about toxic masculinity, at least from my understanding, is a lot of what they're talking about. That's not telling you that you are toxic for being a man, though. That's not the point. How many genders are there? I have no idea. I don't give a shit. When was the last time that white man ever gets brought up on the left? This whole stream. I've been talking about the things that we need to do for young, in large cases, white men for 2 hours. I spoke about how I've had this exact conversation on a podcast recently, which was also like 2 hours long. For a long time. You're not a politician. We need more politicians to say this. Okay, so the question I asked you, you said keep alienating men. I said, how are we doing that? You said toxic masculinity. I said toxic masculinity is a problem that we are trying to fix in a way that would benefit men, right? You said, no, we need politicians to do that. Are you not just moving the goalpost here? Like, so it's not... Is it specifically that politicians are saying toxic masculinity? If so, who and how many? What are you talking about? And also, fuck politicians. Fuck all of them. Every single one of them. The only toxic are stupid feminists like you. Welcome, Jason. Welcome to the chat. This is, all he's said so far is lol, fascist, feminist, crybaby, and the only toxic are stupid feminists like you. Welcome, my friend. Hey. This has been a stream where I've been talking about how young men feel lonely and alone and isolated, and it makes them mad, and how we would love to find ways to make men feel more accepted, and that is an area in which society is lacking, and it's something that we need to fix, and I encourage men to talk to their friends, and I would like men to stop killing themselves. That's what you've just walked into and said this about. You fucking idiot. People don't like being talked down upon. They don't intend it like that. That is how it come across instead of having a conversation that is currently the pushback against or how I feel. I'm unclear on what you mean by that. I hope she could become fascist. Fuck me for caring about men, I guess. Look at me. Look at me trying to find ways to care about men. Guess I should kill myself. Ugh. You know what I mean? Please stop caring about me. I'm sorry, I won't stop caring about you. Again, it's my biggest weakness. I'm such a sucker for a sad boy. I can't help it. I really do have a soft spot for sad boys. And frankly, we all should. It is a thing. It is a thing. I don't, like, the chat's moving pretty fast, but I don't feel like I got an answer to the alienation of white men. Why do they feel alienated? I don't think I got that. And like, to be clear, at the same time, oh, please do, C2, thank you. Men just want money, power, and a hot girl, and they all invent shit to justify why they're being denied that. You're probably not wrong in a lot of cases. They're all, what was I was just gonna say something. I had something there to say. Oh, yeah, like, as somebody who is, like, in here talking about, and I have a history of talking about this. I raise money for men every November, specifically to talk about men's mental health. It is something I think is important that I think society is not considered enough of. And then I, again, am being open in here with this dude who just called me a feminazi bitch or whatever the fuck he said. Telling me that I hate men and whatever. But this is something I've done every year, and yet I still get that same pushback from that same kind of group of men. Like, every year, every November, I do this. I try to talk about mental health, and try and encourage men to find means to talk to each other, that we don't want men killing themselves. That this is something we need to talk about more. I do it every single November, and yet I still, all over the internet, will be called a feminazi, a feminist cunt, a man-hater. For what? Like, I think that maybe that just comes from assumption. Like, I don't even know. Even the people that I'm trying to help are actively rejecting me at all times. I'll keep doing it, to be clear. I'm not going to stop doing it. Loneliness isn't a men's problem, it's a human problem. Why have men co-opted it? They haven't. I agree loneliness is a human problem. I agree that young women also feel lost and don't know who they are and know where they fit in when they're younger. This is a problem across the board. The youth of today, I feel like, is very lost in general. The problem, and men haven't co-opted it. This is what I am saying. This is not what men themselves are saying. As a woman, I guess the fuck do I know? But what I am saying is we have not given the men a place to talk about their problems. Women can turn to other women, and women are much more open about sharing their feelings. Men feel like they can't. Sorry to repeat myself, but men feel alienated by class issues, and grifters prey upon this and tell them their problems are social. That's an interesting thought. Is it toxic masculinity to... Oh, I missed it. It's gone. Me specifically? Yeah, they attack me all the time. Again, go read my YouTube comments on anything. They really come after me all the fucking time. So it's like it's even difficult to fucking help them. But I'm still gonna try. Here's a personal story of mine that maybe can help anyone. Early last year, I was depressed from losing my mom. I'm so sorry. Even after seeing a therapist, I felt alone, hollow, and bad thoughts coming to mind. I have a group of friends I met through Twitch, and one of them held monthly mental health checks. I joined one, shared my story to guys and girls. I opened up fully and cried through it all, and they helped me so much, made me feel safe, showed me I wasn't alone. They saved me. Sharing saved me. I can save you too. That's really lovely. Thank you for sharing. It is true, though. Like, that's the only real way that we know that you can, like, outside of being medicated, have help with any mental health struggle you are going through 100% of the time, is to talk to people. I think you're speaking in echo chambers where all these talking points and negative reinforcements are going on all the time. It's hard to short circuit that process. It seems like it's going on 24/7. I agree with that for sure. That, like, again, I do have a somewhat large conservative following who, like, I will say something that has no emotion in it and sometimes it's just a fact, and they get extremely hostile and angry, and like that is me speaking into an echo chamber, and I know that, but I'm not going to stop doing it. There aren't many, especially for gaming content creation, there are like virtually no YouTube channels that just give opinions on games that from leftists that are successful. Like, it's just, you just get eaten alive. They just get so mad. Again, they react to even my most boring videos all the time, just to harass me, right? Men need a safe woman to speak until they have one. It's damn near impossible to find another guy to talk to until you're both in your mid-20s and both mature beyond the dude bro stage. Yeah, but why? You know? All I can speak to is the following I have here. All I can speak to is the following that I have here. I don't have a huge platform. I'm not trying to get a huge platform. It's not something I'm trying to do. But it's like watching people eat themselves alive. You're angry about something, and then you follow people who make you more angry about the thing, and you just get angry and angry and angrier when the solution is to talk to people. It's just fucking, it sucks. It really sucks that is the ecosystem that men currently exist in, where they don't feel like they can be supported or cared about. You know? Why do I make boring videos? It's who I am as a person. And you can go out, I'll bite. And this is a super massive exaggeration. Imagine your favorite activity, which is going to brunch with the girls every Saturday. Gym bros take going to your favorite restaurant and generally become intrusive. The restaurant then starts to cater to the newfound crowd. You no longer feel welcome at this establishment. Changes in tacky ways that don't make sense. You are then told you are the issue. The restaurant is for everyone technically right, but you still feel alienated. Yeah, I get that. But it is massively exaggerated, right? Like, you'll see people complain about, like, diversity being removed from... diversity being put into video games and they no longer feel welcome. But there are still more video games coming out every year with white male leads than anything else. And I think that the YouTube grifter circus makes that so much worse. Like, is anything you like going to eventually expand its marketing to include more people Yes. Once you have one demographic, you go, they keep buying it. How do we make sure these demographics also buy it? That's the strangest thing about, I was talking to Rahul about this earlier today, about, there's this conservative viewpoint of the Premier League, football, soccer. They will have one day a year where they wear a rainbow band. And it is in solidarity with the LGBTQ with gay people, right? One day a year. And there is always a really angry response and a thought process of, you know that majority of your fan base is straight white men. Why are you fucking putting that down my throat? It's not that they're shoving it down your throat. It's that they also want to appeal to those people. Once you have a demographic, you also want the others. Most of this is marketing. It's not woke brainwashing. It is mostly just them trying to get the demographics they don't have so they can make more money. You know? It's a weird one. Many young taters believe the left calling masculinity toxic, but that's not true. This is a pipe hole, then Google not wishing on Father's Day, such small things. I'm also not sure what that comment means, but the left calling toxic masculinity, yeah, I mean, that's got to be a misunderstanding. Toxic masculinity is not supposed to mean what I think a lot of people think it does. Like, I'm trying to tell you that men having higher suicide rates than women is toxic masculinity. And that's bad. And we need to figure out means to stop men from killing themselves. It's not that all men are toxic, which I think is maybe how they're framing it. Is it just a miscommunication? Why do people think that when people talk negatively about something, they're referring to all of them? You know? I don't know. I think a big issue is that rage bait took hold and the joke became the rule. I fully agree with you. But all the outrage content became so constant that too many people weren't able to discern genuine insights into life with divisive content. It's like an engineered social weapon. I totally disagree. Sorry, I totally agree. The opposite of the thing that I said. Totally agree. The issue is the Illuminati. Okay. If you say so. Get over it? That technically may be toxic masculinity? You're telling me to get over men killing themselves? Regardless of community, it's the job of the men within that community to help other men recognize and overcome it. It's the job of everybody. I think everybody. It's everybody. Do I think there's such a thing as toxic femininity? Probably. Using that word for your definition makes it dumb. I don't remember what I was talking about, so I don't know what word I used. Because people use it as a way to harass men. I don't remember what I'm talking about. I missed context there. Not all masculine traits are toxic. Absolutely not. But some traditionally... Well, so toxic masculinity, again, it's not a phrase that I like. It's not like a phrase I'm using in conversation, right? Like, but it just... I think there's misunderstanding about it when it is used. It's not a phrase that I personally am using. I'm not going, that's toxic masculinity, bro. It's not a thing that I say, to be clear. But when we're repeatedly bringing it up in chat to engage with that particular term, it's not calling all masculinity toxic. It is talking about the parts of it that are toxic. And the parts of it that are toxic, like, in my opinion, tend to be the parts that make men angry and make them feel alone and make them feel like they can't talk to people. Again, literally contributing to tremendous mental health problems. It's not all of them. It's just particular bits. Also, Americans don't seem to confide or relate to their parents. I mean, you're probably not wrong about that, Rahul. There is like a very weird, it's a thing I've never understood, and again, huge generalization, but I love my parents. I adore my parents. I'm gonna cry because one of them's gone now, and it sucks. It's hard for me to say that. I said it too soon. But, there is a thing in America that I feel is very frequent, where a lot of young people hate their parents. They like dread going home for Thanksgiving or going home for Christmas. And that probably is a thing. You feel like you can't talk to your parent. You can't talk to the people who should be your close community, right? I talk to my parents all the fucking time about everything. Anything that bothers me. Sorry, you don't need to give me sympathies. It's thank you, but it's life. It's my bad that I'm still too fresh on it. But Yeah, definitely something that I find very difficult to relate to is a lot of Americans don't feel that way. I've never understood it. They'll be like, oh, I have to fucking go see my parents for Thanksgiving. Huh? I'm not really sure where that comes from. Well, I guess that's my toxic masculinity, is telling me all that it's telling you all that it's my fault for crying. But I'm also not a very emotional person a lot of the time. I have been recently for sure, but yeah. Ugh. And you can go first. I want to thank you for reading that massive exaggeration for what it is. I wrote it for that way of use. Yeah, I mean, I get what your point was. You can go. I agree 100% that it's marketing and it will always expand. I feel like that point is very critical and is always missing when these scripters talk about male spaces being invaded. Many people don't like to admit the fact that they're very one-dimensional in their activities. If your space is invaded, expand your horizons. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Like, I can understand the human reaction of video games used to just be made for men and are now, like, specifically young white boys, and are now made for more people. Like, when something was yours and you felt like you had ownership of that community, I can understand the feeling of that not being the case 100% of the time being jarring to people. But that is not victimization. You are not being attacked for that. It is, in a lot of cases, marketing. Like with football especially. I don't buy that it's that they're trying to do the right thing. In some cases, a lot of these people really do just want to do the right thing. But when you have a whole demographic, you want to also get others, like I said. I'm just highlighting and sympathizing that it seems to be American men isolate themselves from male friendships and healthy relationships with their parents, which makes them vulnerable to these online grifters. I don't disagree. Yeah. Kibik said, how insecure do you have to be offended by seeing something that doesn't represent you? Again, I agree with you on that. But that is not the solution. Like, if you've had everything for you, that like a whole thing has been made for you and you've invested a lot of time into it and you've funded it and it's become bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it goes, we want these other ones as well. Do I think they're right to feel that way? No. Like, something not being made for you, you should just don't fucking play it, right? Like, that really should be the way that it is. Just don't engage with it. You don't have to make 10 videos about not liking Dragon Age Veilguard. I think it's ridiculous. It's not a game I personally am particularly interested in. Did I make 10 videos talking about why I don't want to play it? No. Who fucking cares? But I don't think the solution is to go, you little insecure crybaby. Like, even if it's not that, that doesn't help the conversation. I don't know what the fucking solution is, though, either. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not from a state, so I don't get why a certain group of women are fine with Trump, yet others feel threatened. I couldn't answer that for you really either, other than, like, it's... American politics is a sport. It's red versus blue. It's just a sport. It's just people going, my team good, your team bad, fuck you. And so none of it should really be taken seriously, because they, like, you'll see people all over social media gloating about winning. Like, it's so bizarre to me. And the cheering, I really hate the cheering. I hate it. Anytime you see me watch a Kamala Harris speech and people are cheering and about the fucking nothing she said, I hate it. It's so weird. They treat them like it's a fucking sport commodity, and it's creepy as hell. But that is the way that it is here, so there's not a lot of logic in a lot of it. People will vote for my team good, your team bad, and it is fucking stupid. That one, don't know, it's just part of the American dream. It's crazy. Bobiog said, I do think another major issue that a growing number of young men are experiencing is that more and more are being brought up without a father figure. A father figure gives them perspective on their future, and if there isn't one, they're flying blind, allowing external influences to fill that void. I don't know about that, because a lot of father figures are the ones telling them, don't cry, you pussy. You know what I mean? Certainly family is important, and you should have people you can talk to in your life. But the father figures are, in a lot of cases, kind of the problem. So Kamala or Trump? I can't vote in America. I'm not a politician. I personally do not feel represented by either party. If men cried like you just did, they would be laughed at. That's what I'm talking about, Agomania. Are you insane? That's what I've been talking about this whole time. This dude who just came into my chat and said, keep alienating men, this is what the Dems got. Why are we constantly alienating men? This dude, okay, oh my god. Sorry, please listen to me here, bro. He said, who gets told masculinity is toxic? He basically said that the reason men feel alienated is because they're told toxic masculinity is a thing. And then he commented, if a man cried like you, if a man cried like you just did, they would be laughed at. That is toxic masculinity. I'm trying to help you. That is exactly what we're talking about. The fact that I just cried and a bunch of people in chat gave me hearts and said nice things to me, that is exactly the problem. Men should be able to do the exact same thing and have everybody go, oh my God, I'm so sorry for your loss. You just lost your dad. That's awful. That does suck. I'm on your side here, bro. That's the whole conversation about toxic masculinity, or a lot of it. I'm sure there are like fucking radicals who are not doing it that way, but that's the point. You should be allowed to cry if your fucking dad dies. Why is it that women just don't care? I've been talking about this for an hour and 26 minutes straight. What do you mean women don't care? You're watching a woman talk about this and telling her to shut up. You're just yelling at me. I am trying to talk about this right now. And you're acting like you're a victim. It's okay if they're pulling my strings. That's fine. It's worth discussing. You are just one person. Correct. And there are thousands like me. Most women don't care. Horseshit. Practice unlearning these bad behaviors. Everyone crying is a-okay. And it's not like we're trying to like create some world where all men do is cry all day. You know what I mean? It's just that you should be allowed to feel things. That's all it is. You should be allowed to feel things. I'm in agreement, Screech Lothus. That's why I don't usually use the term toxic masculinity. Like, I don't use that in everyday life. I don't use that when I, like I said, I do streams to raise money for men's health every November. It's not a term I ever use when I'm doing those streams or asking people to donate, right? I see the issues with the term. Someone walks in for the last 3 minutes, I wouldn't blame them for coming to that conclusion, but why should you? Unless they have been, as you said, speaking for the last hour and 30 minutes. Oh yeah, no, he's already had that said to him, though. The guy you've just defended there, Dimorphus, has already been told that and has been here for half an hour. He knows. He knows. Took me till my early 20s to be able to cry and empathize due to toxic masculinity, for lack of a better term. Yeah, I'm sorry. Women shouldn't care. This is your problem to fix. I don't agree with that. I think everyone should care. I think everybody should care about a whole demographic who don't feel comfortable sharing their emotions to the detriment of their own health. That someone would make fun of someone for their dad crying. Why is it that no large woman public figure bring this up? They do all the time. They do all the time. I'm not the only person who speaks about this. But I just think everyone cares. Well, everyone should care. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you can be like, well, men cause the problem. I don't give a shit. Millennials are the one generation that breaks the norm of getting more conservative as you get older. Gen Z is showing signs of being like the other generations. I did see that. I wonder what it is that separates millennials from other generations. I saw a theory today that, like, I haven't thought about it. It's just a theory that I saw, somebody else's, that was basically along the lines of, the millennials grew up at the beginning of the era that said, don't believe everything you read on the internet. They grew up with the internet, but also grew up at the beginning of that era that said, don't believe everything you read. And then had the internet and knew to scrutinize everything. Gen Z doesn't have that. Like, millennials really grew up in a really specific time frame. Exactly, Medallion. Millennials also spent their childhood off the internet, yeah. At least most of it, right? I think a big problem is that tech companies, the algorithm tends to favor and promote people like Andrew Tate when there are men who are trying to help and stop toxic. Also true. There are absolutely tons of people who, again, I don't like using the term, but at this point we've established what I mean when I say toxic masculinity. That there are people who care, that speak about it all the time. Go look at the Sad Boys podcast. They talk about this stuff. But the people that you're seeing are Andrew Tates and the Sneakos and the Aiden Rosses, who are the ones who are screaming about it. You don't see, like, public figures do talk about this shit all the fucking time. Like, they really do. But if you're not seeing it, that may be an echo chamber where you've become a part of one of those bubbles where you don't see the people who actually care because you're just seeing the people screaming about how much of a victim you are. Again, it's so easy to get funneled into that, and it's so profitable. It's so easy. It's such an easy way to make money. Something we need to work on as a society is reinforcing that it is okay to need help at times. Yeah, that's definitely also, I think, an American thing. The pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing. It was one of the most confronting things to me when I moved to the US is that people saw help as weakness. Like, helping someone else was seen as a weakness. Generalizing. But that was a thing that I remember talking to my family about when I moved, that I was like, this is so weird. That America has this thing where if you help someone, it's a negative, and they think that they're being stolen from. That I feel like that's an American dream pipeline. That comes from, with hard work, you can be number one. Like, that's the goal that you're told to have when you're a kid, is be rich, be famous, be successful. In a lot of cases, even if you don't, like, subscribe to that 100%, you're still fed that messaging a lot. The land of the free, make opportunity, be rich. And it's a lot less about help thy neighbor or love thy neighbor. And I remember feeling that cultural shift when I first moved, of like, oh, people think helping each other is bad. And I found it very strange. I posted that Nick rant against women. Okay, yeah. I didn't see whatever Jeff banned, sorry. I'm trying to I'm delayed on the chat for sure. People on the left is failing to connect with men. Somehow they are turning Tate and Trump the left fucked up. We agree. I've been saying that this whole stream. Clearly, some people in chat are baiting you. It's 2024. You would think that help would be more available. It's fine to be baited because they're also giving me conversational talking points. Don't worry about that. I'm not stupid. I know when a troll is not useful to me. I know when to throw them out. I know when they're also useful to me. You know what I mean? Taliafa, I love that you don't know who Andrew Tate is. Sometimes people just want to be heard, even if it's wrong. It's important not to judge. Saying it out loud is what helped them clarify the problem. That's tougher than I would think, though. People wanting to be heard, 100% agreed. Even if it's wrong, it's important not to judge. Don't know about that. Like, because sometimes the wrong is harassment. If you're just talking about people saying things that you don't agree with, I strongly agree. Like, I hate the left talking point as well of people being ignorant is bad. Let people be ignorant and learn. It's not my job to teach you. Fuck off. What's the point? Teach people things. It's okay. Like, don't encourage people to be ignorant. Be like, it's not my fucking fault you're ignorant. I hate that. I hate that shit. It sucks. So we as intersectional feminists can easily rag on the manosphere and Tate, but what would you recommend in the way of anti-red for messaging in order to reach men? When I make fun of Jordan Peterson, I get seal claps. When I criticize Amara or Clementine Ford, I get called an MRA. I don't know who half the people you just mentioned are. But I also don't have an answer to the question. I've heard of Jordan Peterson. I don't really know who that is. I don't think. I don't know who half of those people are. I'm not that online. What's really depressing to me is that there has been a huge increase in acceptance of things like therapy and men experiencing feelings. We talk about this way more than we did decades ago, but just like with politics, there's been an equal opposite polarized reaction. Seems to be capturing a greater, more vocal portion of the male population. It's true. I think it's in bubbles. Like, I think that stuff, therapy is, I have friends who get therapy, including men. That was never a thing that happened to me. Never a conversation around me years ago. That would be weak and lame and no one would do that. You know what I mean? I think that just as many people still feel the way they always did, though. So many of these things are smaller than we think they are. feel like men run into a lot of damned if you do, damned if you don't situations. One side says it's wrong for them to share feelings, while the other side says it's wrong if they don't share. I agree. Really complicated. It's tough. Alanah Banjo 2028. Not a citizen. Can't run. Anyone who thought Harris was going to landslide win the election need to rethink their sources of information. You were lied to. Yeah, I did not think that for a second. I have a friend who was texting me about how he thought that she was going to win by a lot, and I was like, you're crazy, I don't think she is. And then he texted me yesterday and was like, that aged poorly. You live in LA, right? I don't think using men there as examples helps. I don't know what you're referring to when you say that. Jordan Peterson thinks about trans people more than trans people do. The rights obsession is weird. I don't disagree with that. The fucking... The people's obsession with trans people existing is very hard to understand. I mean, that is the same thing probably where it comes from fear. Fear is very motivating. Fear is very popular. Men are literally afraid to get into a room alone with a woman. Do you fault them for not wanting to talk? Can you blame them? Who told you to be afraid of getting into a room alone with women? I would bet you it was one of those right-wing influences. You do not need to be afraid of getting into a room alone with a woman. And if you're going to say, she'll claim I raped her and she'll ruin my career, a guy who's been accused of rape, in fact charged of sexual assault, is president. This is a non-issue. I mean, it's not a non-issue. It's not like that those lies never happen, but then you have no idea how men thinks. Maybe. If you and every man you know is afraid of talking to women, that's certainly also a problem. But whoever told you that is somebody I would consider talking to. I would consider questioning that rhetoric. If you listen to a new person every day for the rest of your life, that'd still be less than 0.001% of people. There's always hope that there's more good people out there than what we deal with. I tend to assume most people are good people. I really do. I try to stick by that. Every corporate person I've talked to have said this? Okay. You're really talking to the wrong people. People like me aren't rare. I'm very basic and boring. Definitely true smoked fool. People just see caricatures of people online. If you interact with them IRL, it's fine. Trans, raping, whatever, yeah. George Carlin said if a person is smart, people are dumb. Also true. Thank you, Adrift Pepper. Thank you for the 28. Thank you so much. The US is a massive place. A one-size-fits-all solution is going to fail every time. Men in Deep Blue City are going to have different needs and viewpoints than men who live in the plains of Kansas. Sure, but I would say we have a problem across the board that I can only speak to here because it's relevant to probably the people who would watch Twitch, which is that right-wing pipeline, where men feel like they are rejected. You need to talk to male creators and capture their audience. Do I? I know we're having an important conversation, but Jordan Peterson once tweeted this sincere concern about the horrifying Chinese semen harvesting industry. What? Oh my god. Maybe we should all be concerned about that, you know? Today I found out I have no men in my fan base. Yeah, I have plenty of these dudes. Again, they yell at me all the time. How are you here, sir? The dude who just told me to talk to more men. How did you get here? Men come and talk to me plenty. You tweeted a porn video? I think it was real? Are you joking? Oh my god. Well, stick to your space and wonder why men cornered them and isolated themselves. Stick to my space. Are you telling me to not stream for 2 hours talking about men's issues? And saying that we need to help men more? What I'm telling you here is that your fear of being alone in a room with women is insane. If your rebuttal to that is, well, that's what everybody says, I'm telling you those people are insane. If you view an entire gender as is going to report you for sex crimes if you talk to them about your feelings, I'm trying to tell you, you need to get out of that chamber because that is not true. That's what I'm doing here. That is what I'm trying to help you see. If your response is, that's not what corporate's full of shit. That's, you've been brainwashed, sir. This is not true. And if your answer is, well, talk to male creators because they all feel this way, that doesn't make them right. This is part of the problem. The echo chamber is indeed too loud. The issue is more complicated than talking about feelings. I completely agree, the Grey Ghost. I'm just talking about one facet of the problem. And I'm not saying that's the whole problem. There are layers. It's not about what is right, but what they feel. Okay, what you feel is irrational. You need to get out of the echo chamber that you're in that is telling you that all women are evil. Very hard to argue against that. And I would be very surprised if any of the men in this chat agree with you. That I think you might be lost, brother. I would love to help. Help number one. Please stop listening to anybody who tells you you cannot speak to women or be alone in a room with them because you don't feel safe. That is help step number one. Anyone who is telling you that, you should stop engaging with. You can tell me, go talk to these male creators. They'll all say the same thing. That doesn't make them right. Again, the advice would be stop listening to whichever male creators are saying that because that is not the real world. That is not the world. That's not reality. Please get out of there. It is part of the problem we are talking about right now. All these male creators, are we talking about Asman here? No! I had a private conversation several days long with Asman 2 weeks ago. I spoke to him about his feelings. Like 2 weeks ago. I don't think there's any part of Asmongold went, I shouldn't have this conversation. She's going to accuse me of sex crimes. He doesn't even feel that way. I don't think he had a conversation with me. I don't think he's going, you better not talk. I don't think any male creator who is not trying to monetize you actually feels that way. Did it help him? I don't know. Keep saying men feel like they are rejected. Is it possible men are rejected emotionally by society at large, men and women? Yeah. Yes, it is. All of this is generalizing, to be clear. It's fucking refreshing to see someone have an open conversation with all sides of the political spectrum without dropping the ban hammer on every dissenting viewpoint. I am pretty clear with my mods about my ban terms, which is I'm fine with the argument. I'm okay with you coming in here and attacking me, as long as it's like not so extreme that the whole chat will have to jump on it. We did ban one guy because he had been doing it for years, which feels like a bit much. But I'm okay with being disagreed with. When I was in early high school, I was in that anti-feminism group space on YouTube and really angry all the time. I spoke to real women offline. It made a lot of female friends and saw the problems with my old belief. So was I. When I was in early high school, I was also an anti-feminist. I was also in that space. I was one of those people. I was on 4chan. I thought feminists were fucking stupid. And then I learned. Like, it's not... I think that applies to a lot of us, to be honest. But especially people who grew up as awkward nerd gamers and have autism. It shouldn't surprise anybody that I also was anti-feminist. I was like, these fucking bitches, what are they learning about? And then I was like, what are they complaining about? Oh, I see. I still don't really call myself a feminist, but do I feel like there should be gender equality? Yes. Thank you, Kenny AF. Alanah went through the femcell to regular human pipeline. What do women care if men decide to keep their distance? I don't know that they do. I don't know that they do. I don't think they do care. Anyway, back to this video that we only made a minute in.
Women who are tired of men like Donald Trump, just one example, but many, many, many others, mistreating and abusing women with seemingly total impunity. Now, nearly 8 years later, Donald Trump is heading back to the White House after running, I think
tell me
it's
about
fair
this
to say, the
Phoebe
most
movement, please.
misogynistic campaign I've ever seen.
Okay, I'm
He
not.
took credit for tearing
It's
reproductive.
not what I'm after. This is not what I'm after. I just want someone to tell me what this fucking thing is without any opinion. Anybody, please. Even Sky News? What a stupid headline. Ugh. Just give me someone telling me what this fucking thing is. Please. Just Biden immigration program, 4B anti-Trump women, but wait, that's a podcast. I'd rather kill myself. New York Post? Wikipedia's got a page on it. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. All right. God. Okay. 4B movement. Just, it's hard to just get some fucking information these days. You know what I mean? Okay. Let me reorganize this. Okay. 4B is like a Korean thing? Yes, it started in Korea, but we want to know more about it. That was the goal of the stream, and I have not really spoken about any of this yet. Okay, 4B, or 4Nos, is a radical feminist movement which is purported to have originated in South Korea in 2019. It's been around for a while. Its proponents refuse to date men, get married, have sex with men, or have children. The 4Nos are no sex with men, no giving birth, no dating men, no marriage with men. So they just don't engage in any relationship-y typey things with men. That's what it is. Okay? It is 100% women going their own way, yeah. Same thing men have been doing with the MGTOW movement. Proponents. Chung Si-young and Baek Ha-na, two proponents, criticize marriage as reinforcing gender roles in South Korea. The movement draws some amount of inspiration from the novel Kim Ji-young, born 1982. Oh, that's the one that girl was talking about, I think. As do South Korea's Me Too and Escape the Corset movements. Apparently I've clicked on this before. I don't know what the fuck that is. Great. How useful. Oh, no, that link means it doesn't have a link through. My bad. 4B movement claims to have 4,000 members. Really popping off. Really successful. Hang on, let me make it bigger. Okay. I need to keep an eye on my phone for whenever my family comes over. Alright, the term 4B emerged from Radfeb's not beating the allegations. Here's a hot take on this 4B movement. It's literally punishing the men who are most likely to be on the same side as these women, the conservative men, and women aren't going to be affected by this whatsoever, and it's only pushing liberal men further away. I think... I don't know yet. But my immediate stance or immediate reaction to that would be, I don't think you need to take it that personally. People choosing not to have sex anymore doesn't have to be about you. It doesn't have to be that anyone is being punished. It's just people don't want to fuck you anymore. That's not being enacted as a punishment. It's being enacted as like a, I'm removing myself from this thing that I'm unhappy with. Again, I don't agree with it. It's not a thing I'm going to do. Big fan of men. But like that's my, again, I'm just now learning about this thing. But I think acting like people are being punished, it doesn't feel right to me. That feels victim-y. It didn't sound like I think you wanted it to. Why? What did I say? Did I say something bad? What did I say? I'm a man. Does that mean you're a big fan of me? You know what, Jeff McRae? I am a big fan of you. I think you're great. I don't think this is about punishing men. That's not... Again, I don't know. I'm just now learning about this. But I don't think that's how you should take it. It seems like people are just trying to be like, I don't fucking want anything to do with the system I don't like. Or like, I don't want to fuck a dude. That's not... You're not being murdered. Like, it's... You just find someone else to fuck. We'll just go... There'll be another woman who's not doing it. You know? Phobia is not supposed to punish men. That is not it doesn't feel that way to me. Again, I don't know though. Have not learned enough about it. It's just people opting out of something. That's kind of it. The phobia movement emerged from Korean feminist circles on Twitter in 2018-ish. Why does society think not having sex is a bad thing? Again, do whatever you want. Having sex, not a bad thing. Not having sex, not a bad thing. Do whatever the fuck you want. There will always be someone who will still have sex with you, little baby. It's okay. You know? It's all good. What, am I gay? Exactly. It's fine. If liberal women are doing this 4B thing, doesn't that mean there'll be less liberal kids being born, meaning more Republicans? That's okay. You're not the first person to say that. That feels like such a mathematic way to think about people. And like, humans aren't Republican plus Republican equation equals sign plus one Republican. I don't know, dude. It's just human beings not wanting to fuck people. Okay? Can we just, just hop back a tiny bit there. It's a bit weird. Okay. Phobia term originated from Korean feminist circles on Twitter. Where they originally defined phobia as the motto of radical feminism, which means non-marriage, non-procreation, non-relationship, non-sex. The phobia movement gained broader recognition in 2019 and through various feminist social media accounts. One notable feature of the phobia movement, as with other Korean digital feminist movements, is that members often identify themselves as anonymous women, as it is conventional not to disclose personal details online. Oh, I didn't know that. That's a Korean thing. I'm assuming good faith. I'm just learning. Don't try and give me, just trying to learn your, don't try and give me the biased take. I will read through a bunch of it. Just trying to learn, Just trying to find an unbiased source right now. We will, why do I just picture 2B with bigger tits? That's actually very funny. Sorry, yeah, just learning. So, the digital movement functions as an online community where women engage in open discussion about navigating and envisioning a future without men. It serves as a platform for women to vent their frustrations and concerns about living in a conservative society while fostering a sense of solidarity. Additionally, the platform aims to motivate and inspire women to protest against dating, engaging in sexual relationships, getting married, and having children. Through a robust online presence, the movement seeks to raise awareness and recruit more advocates to amplify its impact. Don't love that. Don't love trying to recruit people into an anti-sex cult, but go ahead. Just learning. Although the exact membership remains uncertain, some unverified estimates suggest that a range of 500 to 4,000 claimed participants, so it's fucking tiny. This could be out of date. But is that not, like, the epitome of fear-mongering? The fact that, like, I have YouTube videos over here being like, insane, unhinged women shave their heads to protest Trump. And then there's going to be all of these, like, the bitches is... I bet you there's going to be so many articles about this thing that is not large. Probably not that many people. Across the board. Phobia movement isn't going to work. People are already not having sex. Also true. Also true. What do I think about Oprah and Harvey Weinstein? Nothing. I know very little about Oprah as a human in general. I feel like she's very much an American figure. Harvey Weinstein, gross, creepy sex pest. That's all I know. That's all I know. Do you see the thing about Johnny Somali in South Korea where people there were praying for the bond of people who went to jail for kicking the shit out of... Who is Johnny Somali? Who are any of these people? How am I so out of the loop all the time? Are you just making up names at this point? Are you guys just inventing people now? You could be. You could come in here and you could be like, did you hear that in fucking Turkey they harassed Willie Hedgecroft and because of his dead monkey? And I'd be like, Willie, no! What? I don't know what the fuck's going on. How are people not understanding this? Not to attack men, it's attacking the system. The system, where kids and babies and women prop up a vicious meat grinder of a system whereupon women are forced to produce more meat for a system, like where Nick Fuentes tells people, your body, my choice. If you don't see it, it's on you. That's a lot to unpack. I do think the your body, my choice thing is very gross. Is that the thing that I think Scott linked to me? I will say, I'm seeing all this rape stuff being shared. Same thing, very small group of people who are doing it, right? The Nick Fuentes, your body, my choice, is very gross. That is a disgusting thing to say. I can't believe I'm about to however this. This is not... However, they are doing it because they want the videos of women crying about it. I will not engage with that. I will not be engaging with that. The more of these people sharing this stuff, the more people saying it. Like, I immediately, Trump got elected and I had rape threats in my Twitch chat, which almost never happens, right? They just really want the reaction of you crying on TikTok. And the fact that I see it that way, that I see it as like large-scale trolling, is almost more disturbing, because I feel like men really do underestimate how many women have been through sexual assault. Like, I really feel like they don't know. Like, the fact that you're willing to even say it without meaning it, which is how I take that. I don't think they're, like, some of them are, but I think a lot of the dudes who are, like, coming in my chat and DMing me rape threats right now are doing it because they want the reaction of me screaming about it. Again, some of them do mean it. Some of them are fucking rapists, okay? There's the bad of everyone. But, like, the fact that they are willing to let that troll out, I really just feel like they don't understand how big the problem is. That's what it says to me. They really don't know how many women, even in their lives, have experienced sexual assault. And how prevalent it is. And how it's someone you fucking know has done it. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm, like, uncomfortable saying that, but I don't disagree with you, Darth Vader. I remember I had drinks with a bunch of girls a few years ago, and literally 100% of them had been sexually assaulted. 100%. And no man had been charged or gone to jail or lost a job. Not one of the men involved. Like, it is very real. It is not a fake thing that women are made up afraid of. It is a real thing that people just aren't allowed to talk about. I think it's crazy. How would I define sexual assault? Full-on rape or something as simple as an arse grope? What a gross thing to say. Well, just an arse grope? Is that sexual assault? Okay, maybe that's not how you meant that. That's how it sounded when I read it. That's how it sounded when I read what you just said, and that was gross. But also that I'm not going to allow the word rape, so that comment can't be public. Sexual assault includes more than just rape, but I wouldn't say simple as an arse grope. It is any kind of sexual content that is without consent is sexual assault. Thank you, Raisin Ox. Your body, my choice. It's fucked up, but it's funny. Ugh, go away. I'm gonna get rid of you. It's not funny. But it's also, I don't think he actually means it. I think it is an intentional troll. The word rape is banned, everybody, because I was getting rape threats as soon as Trump was allowed in. So if you want to say anything about it, like, otherwise contextually, you will have to use a different term. Just say SA or something. But yeah, I have to keep it banned just for now. Digital movement function is an online community where women engage in open discussion about navigating and divisioning. Yeah, okay. So it's very small. Escape the Corset movement. Started in 2016, served as a source of inspiration for the 4B movement. The movement calls for women to liberate themselves from sexual, social, bodily, and psychological oppression. The word corset is used by Korean feminists as a metaphor for the societal mechanisms that, bind and repress women, including toxic beauty standards. I know the toxic beauty standards in Korea are, like, out of control. Like, that is a huge thing. Not that it's not bad everywhere, but that's, like, especially very bad there. In a society where beauty holds immense cultural and economic significance, members of the Escape the Corset movement criticize and resist cosmetic procedures, demanding skincare or makeup rituals, and the adoption of trendy clothing, all seen as perpetuating consumerism and misogynistic social norms. Damn. In protest, they express their defiance by destroying makeup, forgoing cosmetic enhancements, shaving their heads, and rejecting fashionable attire. Escape the Corset's analysis and approach to protest deeply influenced the 4B movement. Wow, that's pretty intense. That's pretty intense. South Korea's hashtag Me Too movement. Although the Me Too movement originated in the United States in 2016 and gained popularity in 2017, many other countries, including South Korea, created Me Too movements of their own. Thank you, Trevor Boria. Me Too movement in South Korea, like those in other countries, encourage women to express their experiences of sexual harassment to inspire social change. Shortly after its inception in late 2017, several hundred women stepped forward with claims of sexual harassment and violence. This movement also led to women who were forced into sex work as a result of World War II and the Japanese occupation of Korea to speak out for the first time. Holy fuck. Okay. United States interest. After the 2024 United States presidential election in which Donald Trump won a second term, some American women expressed interest on social media and following the 4B movement. Shortly after the election was called, TikTok videos mentioning 4B were viewed hundreds of thousands of times and Google searches spiked by about 450%. It's me. I'm one of those, not the people doing it, the 450%. American women have called the movement the 4 No's. Okay. So it's basically just what it says it is. A movement in which women are trying to break out of a mold that they don't like by not having sex with men, not giving birth, no dating, and no marriage. I don't find this to be objectionable. If you have something that you don't like and you think not doing something will fix it, go ahead. You're not hurting anyone. If you're just going, all right, I'm just not going to fuck anyone. Okay. Go ahead. What's the problem? Thank you, Jamil T. Davis. Do people find it objectionable? I mean, the only way that I found out about it was some angry TikTok about it, but like that, again, could just be one person who found it objectionable. You know what I mean? Incels get a lot of shit for that, to be fair. Do they? I think incels get a lot of shit for a very separate thing. Just the newest rage bait boogeyman? Probably. Okay, watch the TikTok videos for actual contents of how it's used. I mean, I would actually say that this, again, it's Wikipedia, but probably is a better source than a bunch of like random people on TikTok who could have vastly different opinions or whatever, but I don't think I'm logged in, so. Women B4 movement. Nope, stop that. Stop, shut up. TikTok, I hate you, shut up. Women 4B movement. But as it stands right now, it is presented to me, we'll keep digging, but it is presented to me as something that's just like, I don't like something and I think this is to blame, so I'm not gonna fuck anyone. Alright. "100% vol cells, yes. Incels get shit for claiming women won't have sex with them because women are the problem." Yeah, that's the shit incels get. Incels aren't getting shit for not having sex with women because they think women are causing them issues. Incels get shit for thinking they are owed sex. That's a separate thing. Anytime you have a movement based on gender essentialism, there's going to be transphobia. I don't disagree with that. Men see this as a problem because they are outraged that women would not want to have sex with them. It's also a convenient thing to blame for women not being attracted to him. Probably. I haven't seen any that much of the outrage either. I don't know. I don't give a shit who you have sex with. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, all of the TikToks that I'm getting have, like, no views. So I guess I could, for this one, do one of the shorts compilations. But these are gonna be handpicked, whatever.
After Trump's victory, some American women...
Let me frame this better. Hey, look, it's me. I'm being recommended in my own stream. Let me just do that. I'm gonna do that. Do that. Okay. But these are all far, far left women in far left circles who it will harm or help. Again, I don't know that it'll do anything to any of them. It's just they just won't have sex. And like, okay, I don't know.
Women are turning to a movement to swear off men. Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and bragged about his role in overturning Roe v. Wade. So when he won the presidency again, many women started to imagine a grim picture of what the next 4 years could look like. Then some men began flooding social media with comments like, "Your body, my choice," mocking the feminist slogan, "My body, my choice," which has been used since the 60s to advocate for reproductive rights. And it's not just online drama. Two men held up misogynistic and homophobic signs at Texas State University the day after the election.
I'd like to see these.
Signs at
women, slaves, animals. What?
Misogynistic
Homosex is sin. Women are.
And homophobic signs at Texas.
Women are what?
State University.
Read your sin. Okay, what? I can't read any of these. Okay, these are genuinely shit people, but why punish all men for these dickheads? I do not get the impression that people are trying to punish all men. Oh, women are property? Ugh. That's, Medallion, is that a take you have, or are you joking? You're around here all the time. You're generally good people. Do you actually think that someone choosing not to have sex with you is punishment? That if some woman you don't even know doesn't want to have sex with you, you're being punished? How is it not just a choice not to fuck you? Right? Free will is a given. People don't care about men going their own way who are not actively hating women on the internet either. It's the same issue. Yeah, I mean, it is the same thing. It's like men going their own way is a bunch of men who are not happy. Yeah, I'm asking you, Medallion. Was it not you who said what I just read? Did I get the person wrong? No, you said, okay, these are generally shit people, but why punish all men for these dickheads? You said, why punish all men for these dickheads? So I'm asking you, do you feel like all men are being punished because some women don't want to have sex with you? Like, every time someone doesn't want to fuck me, am I being punished? I don't think so. It's just a person having a choice. Think he's holding the guys covering the signs? Yeah, he might be. That's why I asked. I was like, I'm not sure if he's joking or not. He could entirely be joking. Because he's generally pretty cool. He's saying the women supporting the movement are framing it as punishment? Okay, well, again, I'll try and find that, but that's what we're trying to do right now, really. If only conservatives reproduced as fear-mongering. This is such a small group of people. Such a small group of people. So you don't need to be like, but less liberals. I don't worry about it. It explicitly says it's about envisioning a future without men. Doesn't that sing punishment to you? You've totally misunderstood that. A future without men is for them as a person. They're saying, what is my future without a man in my life that I am engaging with as a relationship? That's what that means. That is not saying eradicate all men. That is saying, what does my future without a man in my house look like? For sure. It is not saying all men need to be gone. Definitely not saying that. Also agree it's not an actual popular movement. Thank you, Lightisto. If someone sees all men immediately means them, it's a red flag. I mean, again, I don't disagree with that, but... Also, politics aren't inherited. Yeah, plenty of conservatives have liberal kids, but that's not a thing I'm worried about anyway. There's no way this is going to be a huge popular thing. It's going to, like, have massive issues for... There's a thing that also I think people sometimes don't realize is women like sex too. Women have sex drives also. I feel like this is forgotten far more often than it should be. People like forget because they think that women only have sex for men. Like when people talk about self-respect where it comes to promiscuous women, Never understood that. They'd be like, well, she's a slut. She has no self-respect. Or she likes having sex. And to be clear, I say that as somebody who does not do that. Women can just like sex also. They can enjoy having sex. It's not something you give to a man as a gift because he's done a good thing, or you take back because he's done a bad thing. Human beings like to fuck. Women included. It's, you know, I don't know where it came from that we don't think that. I don't know where that fucking came from. Very strange. Okay.
The day after the election. Some women have turned to the Korean feminist 4B movements for no's. No sex with men, no dating men, no marriage with men, and no having children. It emerged in South Korea after a series of high-profile events, including a man murdering a woman in a public bathroom because he said women have always ignored him. It's been at least 6 years since 4B gained momentum, and some are concerned that it could further contribute to South Korea's alarmingly low birth rate. So American women are attracted to this idea because it proves that actions have consequences.
Okay, that was not that helpful in the end. Not actually that helpful. Look at his face. Oh, you can't see it. This is also not what I want. But all the TikToks I'm finding are so, like, small. I don't know. They're all very tiny. Let me see if I can... It's like I wouldn't know it. Like, I googled 4B on TikTok and I got some woman with her ass out. You know what I mean? That's been taken down. That's been taken down. Oh, or is TikTok just... Okay, TikTok is down. I can't access TikTok right now. Yeah, it's not working. What am I trying to find out exactly beyond what you've learned? I'm trying to find... People in the chat keep saying, no, it is that a punishment, and I'm just trying to find people talking about that. I don't doubt that that is also a thing, to be clear, but that's not what this reads to me. Like, it just reads to me as people going, I'm unhappy with this system, so I don't want anything to do with these people. Like, do I think that... It's not like they're kicking them out of their businesses. They're just not fucking them. I don't care who you do or don't fuck, or what your reason for it is. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, I don't give a shit. And I'm just, I'm not seeing how it's punishment. On Threads, women have been posting about this since the election. I don't really use social media that way. Like, I don't browse. So, if anyone has been speaking about it on Threads, I have not seen it. I don't know. Completely unrelated, but have you watched Agatha all along? No. I also don't really watch any of the Marvel stuff. You wouldn't even know they are not having sex if they didn't tell you, so how can anyone be upset? Yeah, I don't know. Again, may have missed something. Not seeing it, though. May have missed some woman being like, punish the men! But that also doesn't make sense to me because someone else will just fuck the man. It's not like, I don't care. Whatever reason you have for not wanting to have sex with somebody, go ahead, dude. I don't care. Is this another variation of Kill All Men 2020? I've never heard of whatever Kill All Men 2020 is. Also, why can't males just find someone who wants to have sex? Okay, no, this is not a version of Killing All Men. I do not believe any part of this is trying to eradicate all men, or anything even vaguely along those lines. It's just women saying they don't want to have sex with a certain type of person anymore. Fine with it. Not gonna do it. Fine with it. Who is Clementine Ford? So many mentions. Pog Lesbian Wave 2024. I don't know. I just fuck whoever you do or don't want. That's it. Don't care. But again, doesn't come across to me as intended to be punishment. And I think that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple of people who have said that and would claim to do that. And I bet you those are those bitches who aren't even doing it. Like, they're going to say they're doing it, but they're not even really going to do it. They're going to claim it and not commit. Because that's just, like, obviously very passionate. I completely agree. Yeah, Ken, no, Anna, that I don't know how you could see it as punishment unless you think you're owed sex and thus not having it is it being taken away from you. You aren't owed sex by anyone ever. Never. You're never, it's not a thing you inherently deserve. So no one is punishing you if they don't have sex with you. They're just exercising their right to fucking not fuck people. Veteran 365, I also hadn't heard about it before today. I don't think you're alone on that one. Clementine Ford, an Australian feminist writer, columnist, broadcaster, public speaker on women's rights and other societal issues. Okay. She's an Australian feminist, I guess. Some men, especially in South Korea, think that the 4B movement is attacking or punishing men because they think they're entitled to sex. Yeah, that's kind of the thought. I don't know how this could be an attack. I also will say, I think if you're in a relationship where you are with someone, and obviously this can definitely happen both ways, but it's like, I would assume more common. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't have sex with you as punishment, I think that is super fucking unhealthy. If they go, well, I'm not going to fuck you because you didn't do the dishes. That's gross as hell. That is nasty. I don't think we should be doing any of that. Did someone use their body as like weaponized in an argument? I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I don't like it. I don't know how frequently it happens, but very gross. Bad relationship, agreed. That person is gross. Am I done with men? Repeatedly have said no. Huge fan of men. Some of the best people in my life are men. I have the privilege of having two very wonderful dads. I don't know if I talk about that, because I can't. Somebody change the subject. Women are allowed to be picky and dumb guys take that as a personal insult. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly part of the incel movement, right? Is the entitlement is certainly an issue. Sent you a BBC video in Discord. Okay, thank you. That's the one someone sent over. Where did you send it? Okay. Women fight back as South Korea tries to abolish its gender equality. This here. Hang on. What did I do? No, stop. I paused the wrong thing. Stop it. Okay.
Only on the Tab app. Tab. We're
This is a
on.
BBC
Imagine
video
what you
about
could
this.
be buying instead.
꾸준하게 지속적으로 저에게 뭐 염산을 붓겠다 만나면
Women in South Korea are angry. Sexism and misogyny here run deep. But the new president has claimed structural sexism is a thing of the past.
살아가면서 정말 숨쉬듯이 그 차별과 혐오를 겪고 있는 게 현실이고.
Can you guys not hear it? You can, right?
When Yuna started her job as a clerk at a major bank, she was told, to her surprise, to make lunch for her team.
They said this fell to me as the newest female member of staff. Then I was told to take the towels in the men's bathroom home at night and wash them. I said, wouldn't it be better for the men to wash the towels in their bathroom? But my boss said,
Is that a fake accent? Is it? Okay. That is either a translator who just has an unusual accent. I don't know. We're going to pretend that it is an actual Korean person.
있는 게 현실이고.
When Yuna started her job as a clerk at a major bank,
I think the issue is just that the voice sounded so similar to the correspondent.
she was told, to her surprise,
But
to
it
make
being
lunch
AI would mean that they were in with Korean accent.
for her team.
Thank you, not Meta. Hey, I don't know if you read the comment or not, but here's my take phobia movement. A useless on average joke because sex is all-time low. Yeah, so it's not about it being used on men. I feel like we've been over that a million times. Someone not
They
having sex
said
with you is not
this fell to me
them
as the
punishing you.
newest female member of staff. Then I was told to take the towels in the men's bathroom home at night and wash them. I said, wouldn't it be better for the men to wash the towels in their bathroom? But my boss said, how can you tell men to wash towels? At first, I politely said no, but my boss got very angry and started to torment me.
Yuna recorded everything and reported her bank to the government, which last month found it guilty of sexual harassment and discrimination.
Damn.
South Korea has a larger gender pay gap than any other wealthy nation, and its boardrooms and politics are dominated by men.
Men hate towels, yeah.
But rather
true.
than promise to
Men
fix
don't know how to do
this,
laundry.
South Korea's new president scrapped gender quotas, selecting just 3 women to serve in his cabinet.
20대 여성은 이 정치권에 굉장히 어색한 존재이다 보니까 꾸준하게 지속적으로 저에게 뭐 염산을 붓겠다. 만나면 내가 염산을 붓겠다.
Park Ji-hyun set
Why are the
out to
towels
change
It's in their
politics.
bathroom. They're, like,
At just
using them as hand
26 years old, she was asked to lead the Liberal Opposition Party, but soon encountered sexism.
뭐 일단 회의석상에 들어가면은 저만 여성일 때가 많았고, 근데 제가 이야기를 할 때는 대꾸도 없고 이제 대답도 안 하다가 그래서 다른 이야기들 뭐 예컨대 경제 이야기나 뭐 환경 이야기나 이런 것들을 이야기를 하려고 하면은 그냥 넌 너 아는 것만 해. 그냥 디지털 성범죄, 그냥 여성 문제나 해. 이런 식으로 이야기를 하는 경우도 많았었고. 그러니까
Okay.
내가 이 자리에서
So yes, this is sexist, but also give me more phobia movement.
가기 때문에 감사합니다. 감사합니다. 잘 먹겠습니다. 감사합니다. 네.
Recent attempts to improve women's lives have angered young men here, who claim they're now victims of reverse discrimination.
I agree, Rika.
They
I'm aware
want the
phobia
government
is
to
likely
get
not
rid
a
of the
real
Gender
large thing at
Equality
all, and people
Ministry,
should not be
which
treating it like
supports
it is. We agree
women
on that.
and those who've been sexually assaulted. The president
Like, I highly
campaigned
doubt
on this
it's a big
promise
thing at all.
and is now pushing to close it.
Thank you, Bash.
Anna was raped by her
Did I leave the
professor at
US? I've been in
college.
Australia for like
She
2 months.
credits the Gender Equality Ministry
Looking after family.
with saving her life.
저는 그 사건을 겪은 후에 가족들이 지지를 해주실 줄 알았어요. 좀 오히려 가족들은 좀 수치스럽게 생각해요.
I'm not finding this video to be particularly helpful. Like, you telling me about sexism in Korea? Yes. Are the things being said of this in any way surprising? No. Not really feeling like it's telling me about 4B or anything along those lines. It's just sort of, yeah. The reasons for it, well, we know the reasons for it. The reasons for it is sexism. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised at where it came from. Like, even that, I think I established at the start. Are they maybe propping 4B as an imaginary bogeyman or radicalized young men? Legitimately, they are likely going to make it sound like some big real thing where men are being punished and women are crazy, because then, yeah, it's the same fucking thing. That fear does radicalize the young men. It really does. Fear is so easy to get people involved. Okay, there is sexism in South Korea. You guys, we cracked it. Okay, Scott Meisner. Oh, sorry, that's my bad. I didn't mean to read. I read the wrong thing. Internet. Here we go. This is the talking
We
points.
control your bodies. Guess what? Guys
What
win
the
again.
fuck, Threads?
Okay, men win again. And yes, we control
why
your
did you
bodies.
go full screen?
Hi,
and
I'm your
how do I
Republican
pause it?
congressman.
I don't know how to.
Hi, I'm your Republican congressman.
Oh, for fuck's
It's
sake. I don't know
your
how
body,
any of this website fucking works.
my choice.
Is this guy actually a Republican
men
congressman?
Win again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a
he's
female
not. Okay,
president ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again. Okay. Men win again.
Okay, let me.
And yes,
I don't know how to
we
pause a video
control-
on Threads. What the fuck? Let me talk to you about this real quick. All right. You know what this is? This is someone who is obsessed with women. This is an incel who desperately wishes he could get laid more. This is not something to take seriously. I don't even think you can be mad at this guy. Fully just a troll. Fully just someone trying to get a reaction because he's a sad little boy. That's it. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, just an obvious fucking idiot. Do I think that there are like some little closets of men, little tiny groups who feel that way? Sure. Same as I feel like some little tiny groups of women are probably doing 4B. It's not like there aren't extremists on either side. I do not think that most men feel that way. I doubt that guy even feels that way, right? Why do you just keep giving these people so much attention? He's just a fucking loser. Do you know what I mean? Thank you, Yeti Kings. You had dinner with Trump, though? I'm sure many of them did. My aunt is here, so I have to go. Thank you, MK Nutstrap. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Nick was behind Kanye's campaign. I don't know why I just lost the ability to speak. No, he feels that way. He's brain rotted. He's been doing it for years. Again, some of them may. If he genuinely feels that way, I don't feel like this is something to be outraged about. If anything, it's something to be like, wow, you pathetic little baby. Go cry in a corner. And like, just what a sad way to live. You know what I mean? Just what a sad way to have to exist at all. If we can have anything to come out of today's stream, okay? Read some books with your bros. Watch movies with the boys. And then talk about them. Trick your homies into talking about their feelings. Ask people if they're okay. It is a thing. Men do need support, and we are not providing it. We are instead rejecting them. It is a problem that the left is contributing to. I think everybody needs to help everybody all the time. That's what community should be, and I feel like we live in a society that has lost sense of community and how important it is. Also, does anybody know how to wash a towel